Please now welcome James Chang, Chief Business Officer, Lazada, Southeast Asia's leading e-commerce platform and part of the Alibaba group. James has been with Lazada since the very beginning, co-founding Lazada in the Philippines in 2012, launching Lazada into Singapore, expanding into groceries and fresh produce with Redmart, and now responsible as Chief Business Officer across the region. So, James, firstly, thanks for joining us. Secondly, it's been quite the rocket ride for you over the last decade. For those outside of Southeast Asia who might not be familiar with Lazada, what is it, and what was the concept when it first, when you first opened Lazada?
Yes, so Lazada is an e-commerce platform as part of the Alibaba family here in South Asia. We operate in 6 major markets: Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Philippines. And we provide various of different goods and services that caters to diverse of needs in this region. We have a retail marketplace, last mile, which is a branded space for global brands. Also offer cross-border, which are trying to connect the manufacturers and some of the resellers from different regions and trendy products into South Asia as well. By having this very diverse needs in conjunction to some of the things that are very popular now, online groceries, instant delivery services. We try to be a lifestyle platform where we can cater to many of the consumer needs in terms of both goods and services. When we first started Lazada, though, in 2012, it was a very different starting point. I still remember I was in the Philippines, and the largest e-commerce, I would call it at that time, was a site where you'd browse the product, call the phone numbers, and then arrange a meet in McDonald's and to exchange with cash. Yeah, so consumers understanding, trust, the online transaction itself was very foreign. So we started the business predominantly on a 1P business. So we bought the products, it's in our warehouse, we can inspect the quality. When consumers make the order, then we can make that delivery in the most controlled way. It was the only way for us to build that trust. And from that to a very diverse ecosystem that we have today, it's been a ride.
Yeah, been amazing. When you started, and you were making this up, it was a startup. What were the company sites and platforms that you benchmarked against in the early days?
Yeah, we looked at multiple and looked at different business models. We tried to figure out what's the best model for South Asia. We looked at everything from Amazon in the US to Flipkart in India, and of course we are looking at Alibaba. Alibaba had very comprehensive different offerings and different brands like Taobao, Tmall, as well as the .com business as well. So we're trying to benchmark to see what's the best fit for South Asia.
And so you fast forward to 2016, and Alibaba took a stake in the business. I mean, that must have been an incredible moment. How did it change things for you?
Oh, it changed so much. I still remember in 2012, November 11th, we were looking at the success of the Singles Day. We're saying it would be so wonderful if we had something like this in South Asia. So we quickly tried to do 12-12-12, which on December 12th. And even still this day.
Later, you had your own festival.
Yes, and even till this day, together with 11/11, it's one of the most iconic festivals. But this was a company, Alibaba, that we've dreamed of and we've benchmarked on many angles. And since us becoming part of the family, many benefits and many support that we got from Alibaba. Because e-commerce was new for us and our team as well, and this region, we relied a lot on trial and errors. Every time we grow, every time we scale, we were just not sure what are the challenges we're going to face at this new size. As we continue to offer new services and new goods, we weren't sure what's going to be appealing to the customers. Alibaba went through that evolution and had a lot of knowledges, know-how, what to look out for, how to set up in a scalable way to sustain that future growth, and also what are the most effective way to engage the customers at different point in the evolution and the life cycle. So that e-commerce knowledge and learning really helped us to, with confidence, to speed up the development and progress here in South Asia. And of course, the other part is the technology. In the first year, we did a lot of the foundational technology change to be able to reset for us success for the future in a much more scalable way, and also be able to pull in some of the functionalities and whatnot from Alibaba to adapt to South Asia and to quickly localize that. And having that kind of technology foundation change and to be able to have that compatibility gave us a massive advantage in both speed to market, but also providing a relevant technology.
So, I mean, that helped with the backbone of the business. But I know from your point of view, you know, there are two sides to Lazada. There's thinking globally in terms of the activation of the technology and logistics and all those the really important side of e-commerce. But equally, in such a diverse market, it's about acting on a local basis too. Yeah, how does that work in action?
Yeah, so we like to call it South Asia, but if you really think about it, it's a diverse region of more than 550 million people with
Wow.
different religions, languages, culture, different social appetite in terms of digital social apps and whatnot. So, and also not only that, very different infrastructure development as well as the disposable income from one country to another. So it's a really, really diverse. So for us, having the ability to really define and understand clearly what we need to centralize for scale and efficiency and what we need to localize for effectiveness and appeal has been a very important point. So many of the important pieces, for example, as I mentioned before, technology and infrastructure, logistics plan and whatnot, we were able to centralize that. So we have a scale and a way of looking at the region holistically. But when it comes to offering the services to the end consumers, as well as the marketing, the campaigns, the messagings, the brandings, and the type of category strategy that we had to localize that so that it fits the needs of the local market today and also immediate future as well.
Yeah, and it is this diversity in terms of making sure that you're as relevant as you possibly can on a local level that is part of the success of Lazada. One of the interesting things that I've noted before is just how you approach delivery. Singapore, highly urbanized environment, very high expectations. A tier 2 or tier 3 city, completely different. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes. Actually, the customer's expectation across South Asia has been rising. I still remember back in 2012, the number one reasons we received in the call center was, "Have you received my order?" So you can probably imagine how low the expectation was back in the days. But now, as consumers get familiarized with e-commerce, build that trust, and as services enhance, more expectations for sure. Singapore, we offer the most diverse level of services, including instant delivery, same-day delivery, 2-hour time slot-based delivery, all the way to economical postal delivery, collection points and whatnot. Having this diverse needs to meet that customer in a very diverse way, we find it very important. And also with the infrastructure development as an urban country as a whole, we test out also new services here in Singapore quite often. But then we take those services and we also offer them into metropolitan areas where the key consumer base and the needs are similar, and also the expectation is also high. But when you look at tier 2, tier 3 cities, the consumer's expectation is a bit more different because some of these service levels is not viable. And also customers expect the journey to have a longer lead time. Some areas we have to take both truck, air, as well as a boat to be able to deliver the goods. Having a predictability, notification, and constant reminder and the expectation setting and meeting that expectation becomes quite important for geographies like that. So not only developing diversity of services, but also tailoring it to different needs of different local markets, we find it very critical.
Yeah, and payments different too, isn't it? Because as in Singapore or credit, in those tier 2, tier 3 cities, in some cases anyway, is it still cash on delivery?
Yes. So outside of Singapore, we still offer cash on delivery. So basically, you receive the product first, and then you pay the cash to the driver. This concept, I know it's a bit foreign to some of the other countries around the world, but for South Asia, this becomes very critical for two different reasons. Number one is we have many unbanked customers who still use cash as a main form of transactions in their everyday lives. So to be able to tailor to a diversity of different customers here in this region, we have to offer that service. But not only that, many customers are joining even still nowadays online for the first time, making their first e-commerce transaction. And having the goods arrive and then you pay makes the very, very highly secure and also trusted transaction form for these new customers to make that initial transaction. So having cash on delivery is still quite important today.
Yeah, it's incredible. Turning to the 11/11 Global Shopping Festival, which of course is the subject of our event today. You talked about the history of Lazada and Double 11 that first year, saying, "Wow, this event looks amazing," and then developing your own as 12/12. Did you then turn around and do a Double 11 in 2013?
Yes, and we've been doing it every year since then.
Right, and growing in popularity, obviously.
Absolutely. I mean, every year it's just been a phenomenal new record. I mean, it's a very fun time for the consumers.
Yeah.
And also it's a very exciting time. Consumers wait for that day for a lot of the desired goods for themselves or their loved ones. And to be able to make that purchase with the comfort knowing that, I'm going to have the best deal this day, it's quite important for our customers. Also, we use 11/11 for internal purpose as well. It's a great way for us to stress test our scalability. Because with this hyper growth, we always are looking for how can we sustain the service level when it comes to delivery, technology, our servers as well, for that next year and the years to come. So 11/11 becomes a massive stress test for us. And it's internally, we call it's the report card of the year. If we've done everything right, satisfied the users, onboarded new merchants, onboarded new brands, and build that scale, we're going to have a successful 11/11.
And you've also got the added complexity in terms of a stress test as well, I suppose, of localization, as we talked about. How are you localizing Double 11 this year?
Yes, so we have a global ambassador for South Asia. It's a 17 boy band from Korea.
Yep. I didn't know them, but I've checked them out, and they're massive.
Yes, and we're partnering 17 with a local ambassador that appeals to the local market. So having that global ambassador to set the overall tone and the image of 11/11 and be able to match with the local ambassadors and to be able to have that content and engagement through both Lazada app as well as the major television for the consumers to engage and excite in that ways. It's part of the ways we localize. But not only that, some of our sales mechanisms and how we communicate, how we go to market is highly localized. Even though the underlying technology foundation is built in a central way, be able to customize that, appeal to the local markets become quite important for 11/11.
Yeah, and to give an example of that, what are you doing in Singapore? I know you've got a bonus offer in that market, for instance.
Yes, one of the interesting things we're doing in Singapore is one lucky winner, this 11/11, is going to walk away with a $1 million condo.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And we felt that it was quite timely and important for the Singapore consumers. During the pandemic, a lot of our customers wanted to upgrade their living space. And part of that is to look for condominiums which offer a diversity, swimming pools, fitness rooms and whatnot of different services in there. So a lot of the customers are looking for, how can I upgrade my living space? And offering that brand new condo, that's $1 million value, it's going to be a buzz in the market for sure.
Yeah, incredible. And so, that's part of the maintaining the excitement for shoppers for this year's Double 11. Live streaming, I guess, is going to be bigger than ever.
Yes, live streaming is on its popularity and it's really getting more and more engaged by the audiences. We see this from two metrics. One is the total views and the viewing times of these audiences has been growing at a quite exponential speed. But not only that, more and more brands participate in live stream to tell their brand story. South Asia is still a bit young for a large transaction volume come from that live stream itself, which we've seen in countries like China. However, more and more brands are using this time to engage with the buyers, to tell the brand story. Because many of the consumers, these brands and these goods are something that they've always wanted, but it's still new at the same time. So having the ability to explain the product and the brand well, many brands find they're quite engaging. And also from the customer perspective, we've seen that customers using shopping app like Lazada more and more to not only make that purchases and get the good deal, but more and more to be an engaging and fun space. And 11/11 is a fun event in general. So live stream will play a critical role for sure.
Yeah, it's part of the whole theatre of the event, I guess. And I'm sure gamification will be part of it too.
Yes, actually, we talked about the condo in Singapore.
Yeah.
One of the ways that you can win is you grow a Lazzy star. So to go with the theme of the band and the singers and the gala show that we're doing, you grow your own idol pop star on Lazada. And as you continue to engage, browse the products and whatnot, you find hidden keys, which eventually will lead to the lucky draw of winning the condo. So tying the games to the branding, to the giveaways, and to the sales mechanism by having that entice browsing to the consumers, it really comes together to make the experience more fun.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, like in China, I mean, 11/11 is not just the day itself. It's a whole festival that starts on November the 1st. And I think you call the lead up to 11/11 itself the teasing part of it, which is getting customers engaged and so on, and having fun with those bonus offers and the games and the live streaming and anticipating what products you're going to buy. And then it all culminates with the gala. And again, you're localizing that. So you've got your 17, but then in Malaysia or Indonesia or whatever, local ambassadors as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the teasing period is very important period. Because to have a 1 day to browse, to know what you want, to compare the deals and whatnot, it's just not enough. And also 11/11 is not just about making that transactions checkout and then closing the app and move on. It's about the whole experience. So from November 1 all the way to November 10, we have series of different events, a series of different mechanisms in place, including live streams, as we mentioned, the gala shows as well, but also different engagement points throughout the period of time where we give vouchers at a certain period of time, certain mechanisms pop up, and also new deals are released on a daily basis. And that really makes the whole journey much more fun, and also gives customers the both enjoyment and time to be able to browse the products and to be able to make that checkout during the 11/11. So our biggest kind of sales spike happens at the midnight, at the stroke of the midnight on the November 11 itself.
Yes. And what are the hot categories that your shoppers are going to be looking for this year?
There are a few, but we've seen some trends that are becoming much more relevant. We're looking at consumers are much more health conscious. How to stay fit, how to stay healthy, how to look after myself and my family becomes a top of mind. And part of that goes into looking at supplements, sports, indoor sports equipments, sports footwears, attires as well as the personal care products and whatnot. So we've seen that kind of growing trend. The second thing is we also seen a growing trend of upgrading my living space to be much more enjoyable. And we've seen consumers upgrading from sound systems to TVs, to furnitures, decors, and some of the hobbies as well are some of the things that we're seeing as well. So these are big trends that we're spotting that's going to be hot for this 11/11.
Cool. Well, James, thank you very much for joining us. It's been fascinating learning more about Lazada. I wish you all the best for a huge 11/11. I mean, we're right in the middle of it now, but we're only a couple of sleeps away from as you say, that big sales spike. I hope it's going to be wonderfully successful for you. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.